Asperger Syndrome is a form of high-functioning autism and is characterized by problems in social interaction, communication, imagination, repetitive behaviors, and obsessions. Although nonverbal communication is an issue, those diagnosed with Asperger syndrome usually develop speech at an appropriate age, which often leads to delays in diagnosis. Statistically, Asperger's is grouped with autism, and according to a 2008 study by the National Survey of Children's Health, autism is one of the fastest developing childhood disorders. They reported that the prevalence of autism spectrum disorder is roughly 1 in 91 for children 3 to 17 years old. Typical behaviors attributed to children with Asperger's are poor social interaction, which can take on many forms such as a lack of empathy or disregard for others' feelings, a display of poor nonverbal communications such as eye contact or gestures, or they may come across in verbal communication as quite self-absorbed. Other common behaviors are repetitive and obsessive tendencies, which are often very narrow or intensely focused, and can range from the collection or arrangement of one specific item to repetitive motor skills such as jumping up and down for an extended period of time. Now, any of these behaviors can cause a child with Asperger's to face many challenges in a regular classroom environment, and it is imperative that teachers gain an understanding of the learning difficulties this group of children may encounter. The 3 subject areas of greatest difficulty for an ASPE kid are reading, writing, and mathematics. During the early years, students may perform at or above their peers on reading tasks. However, after age 8, typical reading instruction shifts from an emphasis on decoding to an emphasis on comprehension, and studies should suggest that only 37% of ASPE kids meet the standard for reading. This deficiency may be due to attention deficits, difficulties with critical thinking, problem solving, or simply adopting the perspective of others. Writing is also an area identified as a weakness for students with Asperger's. Studies suggest that 60% of ASPE kids could be classified as having a writing disability. This may be caused by motor coordination difficulties and/or processing deficits affected by organization and attention deficits. In the early years of math, students with Asperger's have average abilities and perform similarly to their peers. However, when problem solving is introduced, students start to show significant deficiencies. These deficiencies can mostly be attributed to organizational problems, reading comprehension deficits, and attention skills. Due to the similar causes for deficiencies in each of those subject areas, one teaching strategy rises above the rest and provides the groundwork for confronting any of the issues previously mentioned in each of the 3 subject areas and within social interaction. The teaching strategy is called strategy instruction, and it is an effective academic intervention yielding very promising results for children with Asperger's. The purpose of the strategy is to help learners independently solve problems by applying systematic thinking skills across different settings and situations. Strategy instruction teaches the rules, processes, or steps that lead to a solution and may need to be altered for different students' needs. The following examples all demonstrate how to execute a task using process steps and rehearsal within the 3 specific subject areas mentioned earlier. Feel free to pause the video to take a screenshot or write down any of the following strategies. The first example is a 6-step strategy used to increase reading comprehension. The next 2 are both examples of strategies to increase the student's writing ability. The first uses the same style of process steps as the reading example, and the second is using a mnemonic technique. The final 2 examples are process steps for helping guide a student through the problem-solving process in mathematics. This specific example here is referred to as Solve It. If you would like to implement technology in your classroom, There are a few techniques that may assist your student depending on their specific needs. With the increase of PDAs and smartphones in our society, the cost of these devices has dropped significantly, making them an affordable tool to assist with students who have Asperger's. One study of 22 students suggested that all participants used the device every day and said that the device had improved their independence in performing functional activities. Along with the data shown here, the group also demonstrated strong retention of training and programming the device when reassessed 8 weeks later. And their devices show calendar entries across the 8 weeks that suggested everyday use. Another technological device that can be used both in the classroom and at home is the website myfriendquest.com. This service provides games to help kids on the autistic spectrum to recognize and respond appropriately to social situations and emotions. The online community is also very strong in providing communities that are geared towards assisting and supporting parents with children who suffer from Asperger's. In Ontario, there is the Asperger Society of Ontario, found at www.aspergers.ca. An example of a local community resource they provide in Toronto, Ontario, is a workshop for children's social skills for kids approximately 8 to 14 years old. Other online support organizations are Wrong Planet, found at www.wrongplanet.net, and Autism Ontario, www.autismontario.com. They provide the 3 separate programs seen here on your screen. They're designed specifically for children and parents who are dealing with the effects of Asperger's or high-functioning autism.